queen of burnout.
I'm gonna just throw it on.
I know known as the queen of burnout to breakthrough in the criminal justice field. I am working as I'm a state probation officer for 21 years. Come from a family of nurses, teachers, firefighters, undercover sheriff, stuff like that. So that's where my passion is for wellness, especially mental health wellness. It is a struggle in the careers that we have, that we work in, and all around. So this is where my passions come. And when Lee said she wanted to do this, it's like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been dreaming. Get in front of people, speak about it. And why can't we just do it this way, starting here small, and then we can go forward? So I'm just excited. Everybody's here to speak for us today and help us out on this journey. And welcome. Thank you.
So I think what we'll do is we'll ask. We're going to be doing 5 minute talks. We might go a little longer, and that's just fine. We have like I have 2 hours, but we just want to keep things a little tight so that we don't bore ourselves. Or I know you're not boring, but just to keep in alignment with what we wanted to do. So, Ashley, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm Ashley Balza, and I am known as the self-care mama. I am a mom of seven, grandmother of two, and really my passion lies with speaking and teaching moms about self-care. Um, I once was in a position where I was in a life or death situation and not sure if I was going to exit the hospital after I gave birth to our sixth baby, and ended up with a severe septic infection. And knew that along the way, my mindset started questioning, how did I get here? What led to this point of the burnout, the exhaustion? Um, and really kind of going over my life, if you will. And it came really to a head at that moment, of, okay, my husband was working massive amounts of hours in his day job, and then after work, I wasn't getting out of the house. And it's not that I was secluded, if you will, but it was more so we had kids. It wasn't something like we had a support system of, babysitters lining up down the block to be able to take care of our kids. Anytime we hired a babysitter, we needed to hire two because, I mean, that's six kids, and then you throw in a new baby, and most people are like, what do I do with this? So it was really about figuring out how can I begin to fit self-care in my day-to-day life. And it didn't happen right away after I got out of the hospital. It did take some time, but I started with simple things. And now I'm really on that mission to teach moms how they can start with the simple day-to-day self-care activities that don't cost a lot of money, that don't require getting out of the house for hours at a time, and really just building upon their routines that they already have and building in those long-lasting changes for their life and their routine. Um, because I don't want another mom to have to go through a near death experience to begin taking care of herself, to let her know that she's worthy of taking care of herself. I think most often we put our worth and our value in motherhood alone and forget who we are in the throes of motherhood. We lose our identity, which also means we lose our zest in our life for activities that we once enjoyed because we just forget. It's changing diapers, it's feeding babies, it's cutting up little pieces of food. It's all of those things where we begin to take care of everybody else but ourselves. We make ourselves less important and make everybody else more important. So that's where I'm at this stage of my life, is really in that space of guiding moms through their self-care journey.
Thank you very much. Now, do you have a link to share?
Yes, you can grab my free ebook at free gift from selfcaremama.com.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Ashley. And we'll have a popcorn session asking you questions after. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, I just want to recognize Deepa, who just arrived. And I'll ask Darla if you'd like to go next.
Sure. Um, well, hello, everyone. I'm Darla Williams. I'm an intuitive transformational life coach. And what that means is I help people intuitively. I follow from my own, I took a part of myself that was hypervigilant and learned how to actually pay attention to the details around me and realized that I could see a lot of people who are wounded and how many people out there in the world were actually suffering from a lot of distress. And in turn, I realized I had a lot of skills from my own personal journey through overcoming domestic violence, and realized that there's a lot of people in the world that are suffering silently. And it's not just domestic violence, but their traumas. And I realized that I had a unique skill of learning how to overcome traumas. And I applied that to what I do as a coach. And I began a journey into helping anybody and everybody that I could, because I knew how important it was, because I didn't like to be alone in my own circumstance. And I felt that everyone needed a partner to walk along the journey of life. So as an intuitive transformational life coach, what I do is I walk into people's lives, and they generally find themselves saying everyone needs a Darla. But what everybody needs is someone who's actually attentive to the details of life. And I chose to do that as a coach. I teach a course called The Art of Learning Self-Love. And it's a 90-day course where people can actually begin walking through and learning how to identify how to love themselves first. Because until we know ourselves, we are not able to actually tell other people who we are and what we need. So I choose to take from my own personal experience. And as I use that experience, I'm able to navigate really dark spaces with other people where they feel like no one understands them. I'm able to share experiences that I've been through that makes them realize they're no longer alone. I love what I do. I love the people I get to talk to and the journey along the way, because I'm watching and being the light in other people's path. So my whole journey is about mental health and wellness for others, and being able to take those who've been through the places that they're afraid to talk about and help them to break the silence in domestic violence and other places in their life where they feel less because of circumstances of traumas, and help them to shift it from being in the shame of the experience and liberate them by being able to help them to identify themselves and realize what part of it was the lack of boundaries, and discovering how to begin building them and giving them the resources within themselves to begin empowering themselves through affirmations and repetition, and just learning how to redesign what's going on the inside. That's a little bit about what I do. Does anybody have any questions?
We'll get into the questions after, Darla. Thank you so much. This is transformational work, for all the work that you do in family violence. And also, Ashley, taking care of ourselves, loving ourselves, and that self-care is so important to our wellness journeys. So I appreciate both of your messages. And now we will go into Deepa because it is Women's Day, guys. We'll get you on next. I think I'll get Aron and then I'll get Jason last to finish us off. So, Deepa, it's your turn.
Muted, dear.
Okay, can everyone hear me now?
Yeah.
My name is Deepa, and I'm known as the Mind Power Strategist because at the tender age of 7, my year 1 class teacher told my mother that I should be put in a school for special children. Once she got over the initial shock, my mother incessantly drilled into me that anything I set my mind on, I can achieve. And so she became the wind beneath my wings. The mind is such a powerhouse of largely untapped potential that each and every one of us possess, but most, if not all of us, are ignorant about. And that is now why I have made it my mission to take anyone and everyone through an experiential journey of achieving what they want using the power of their minds. There is nothing magical about this process.
Oh,
Charlie,
Sherry, can you put your mute?
Aron has been arrested on drug charges.
Just hang on. I'll just find a mute
Oh,
button.
that's fine. Yeah, I think they muted. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
There is a simple 5-step process that can bring about predictable outcomes. There are countless quotes to this effect, such as the one by the late Bob Proctor, who said, "Thoughts become things. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe can be achieved," said Napoleon Hill, author of the Think and Grow Rich. We receive exactly what we expect to receive, said John Holland. And the next quote seems to suggest that this whole process might even be something quite spiritual. Because Buddha said, "What you think, you can become. What you feel, you attract. And what you imagine, you create." After all, aren't we all spirit souls having a human experience? Parts of the whole? And don't parts of anything work best in congruence with the whole? And the whole works and is experienced when its parts work in congruence with it. So ask yourself, what would you love? And let this guide your life. Imagine what you would love in vivid detail. The clearer the image, the closer you are to it. Cultivate a burning desire and let that fuel your actions. Stay true to your vision, but be open and unattached to how it will come about. As Abraham Hicks says, everything you want is coming. Relax. Let spirit pick timing and the way, and watch how fast it comes. Do what you can from where you are with what you have, and let Source take care of the rest. Join me on a test drive of the simple steps involved, where you can verify for yourselves the truth of what I have conveyed in a complimentary virtual experiential challenge. Simply scan the QR code that's showing, and I can be the wind beneath your wings. Step through and pop your details in, and we'll be in touch. I'd like to take you through a little exercise where we can walk through how the mind can be used to turn around situations and circumstances in your life. What is the mirror? It's the mirror of the mind. And what is it? It utilizes a simple but powerful technique that allows you to access your subconscious mind, enabling the identification of difficult thought patterns that can be turned around into positive outcomes. Behind any negative emotion is a faulty thought pattern, often originating from childhood. So firstly, deep relaxation takes you into the alpha state of mind, the subconscious. All experiences since birth are recorded in the subconscious as thought patterns. At this level of mind, there is no time or space. Therefore, patterns can be changed regardless of how long ago they were formed. The mental mirror is the main tool at this creative level, a revolving mirror with a black frame on one side, the negative, and white on the other, which is the positive. The more this technique is used, the more health, wealth, and happiness can be experienced. There is the finger trigger, which automatically puts you into the alpha state of mind and enables the swiveling of the mirror simply by bringing the thumb, pointer, and middle fingertips together, saying white frame. And that's the way. The water technique. Fetch a glass of water and say that all that is needed to manifest the white frame is to drink the glass of water, and you can flick out of a negative state of mind. Meditation deepens the alpha state and trains the mind to focus. It also opens up the delta level of mind, which is the spiritual level. The best times to practice the mirror of the mind is last thing at night while lying in bed before sleep, and or in the first thing in the morning, just before waking, when you're still just after waking, when you're still in the alpha state. So take if you'd allow me to take you through the mirror of the mind, first of all, take 3 deep breaths. This prepares the mind and body for deep relaxation. So breathe in, hold, release. You're done with your first 3 deep breaths. Breathe in the 7 colors of the rainbow, starting with red, which deepens relaxation and balances the chakras or energy centers. Hold and release each color, starting with red. In for 4, hold, out for 4. Then orange, breathe in orange, hold, release. Yellow, breathe in, hold, release. Green, breathe in, hold, release. Blue, breathe in, hold, release. Indigo or purple, breathe in, hold, release. Violet, so then in the mirror, on the black side of the mirror, see the event or circumstance that you'd like to flip, to turn, to change. So feel the feelings associated with that event. Feel it, and as though it's happening to you right now. Turn the mirror in the white side, the white frame. See it as you would like it. And feel the feelings of that new circumstance. As though you're there, right? So what you see in the white mirror will happen. You can go deeper by following the breath in meditation, and that can give you a deeper experience. But if you scan that QR code, I will be in touch and we can arrange what I call tiny challenge, and I can work this through with you in an experiential session.
Thank you so much. Wow. Talk about transformation from all the way from Australia, right?
That's correct. At
And you, and
4:30 in the morning.
I know our 5 minutes went a little bit longer because of the time frames, right? So, thank you so much. That was very transformational. I really appreciated the exercise. It's kind of like you transfixed us to a different place. And the black and white mirrors, we can change our lives just through those little exercises. So, thank you for that. So questions will come after we're all done the presentations. We'll do popcorn style of questions. So our next speaker, Aron, are you ready?
Yes, Lise, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Cool. Hello, my name is Aron. I'm known as the champion of life, making the impossible become possible. You're wondering why I class as that? Because my life has been in testament of challenges, from being vision impaired, diagnosed with retinal pigmentosis at the age of 7, traveling around the world and taking up rowing, winning records, competing at the highest level. But hey, doing that all with only seeing a certain amount of vision deteriorating over a period of the last 27 years, going from 20/20 vision now to 30% vision. And you're wondering, Aron, like, how do you do this? What do you do? Like, you're an athlete, you're a podcaster, you hold TV show, you do all these incredible things. And to be honest, I go deep into my soul, and my soul is the answer of everything. What comes in, what must come out. So in doing that allows everyone, including myself, to be the champions of life. We all have circumstances in our lives that may disable us, may handicap our ability, but yet it creates the challenges. We find people in our networks, in our communities, and in our families to give us the kick up the ass or the moment of where they can be creative and so on. So I want to give you a little exercise. First of all, scan your area. See if you've nothing around you that can create an obstacle. Because in my life, every day is an obstacle. From getting up from the bed to going to bed at nighttime, I hit my head off stuff. I can chop my fingers cooking. I can walk into pillars, etc. So, for this exercise, make sure your space is cleared, and I want you to close your eyes. Imagine and feel what this is like every second of the day. And I want you to grab your hands and feel your keyboard, or your mouse, or your pen and paper. And while doing this, feel the texture going through your body. Hear the sounds that's in your room, that's around you. And feel, because this is how I interact in the world. My senses are a component of my eyes. Now, if you've a pen beside you, feel for your pen and your page and start to write with your eyes closed. You're probably feeling the pen and the sweeps and the strokes. And you probably don't even know what you're writing. Because that's how I feel. When people say, hey, sign this, I actually have to have someone to figure out and sign this for me. Now let's take that a little bit further. Push back. If you're in a space in your room where you can stand up, and while you're doing that, feel the ground through your feet. Put your hands on the table. And if you have the space, go left, go right, and try to walk around your room or your space. And feel every step. Take in the sensory components of your room. Mind map it, because mind mapping is something I do every time I take in the circumferences, the surroundings, and so on, because my mind is actually my vision through my senses. All right, come back to the chair and sit down. And open your eyes. And remember that what you can see is a blessing, a fortitude, because I will never have the luxury of seeing again, because I'll be blind in the next 10 to 20 years. That is my predicament. Medical research, medical science can say, yes, we have treatments, we have stuff, but that's still miles and years away. So my challenge is making me the champion of my life every second of my day. And remember, you are the champions of your life, making the most impossible things become possible. if you want to if you want to feature and share the story that makes you the superhero that you are, check out the arodowd.com and you'll be able to feature what makes you special in this world because we all are different abilities. Even though some may not hear, some may not see, some may not be able to talk, some may have physical challenges, mental, psychological, spiritual. We're all here on a mission from God, and we're all here living our supreme superhero abilities. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you very much, Aron.
Thank
You
you.
know, having you here is such a beautiful thing. And Randy Joe, do you want to say anything?
I am just appalled. I'm not appalled. That's a bad word to say. I am just astonished of how, because I'll be honest, I cheated, Aaron. I had to open, squint my eyes to make sure I wasn't going to fall. you know, it is like, oh my God, I've heard you speak a little bit on Forbes, but not to this depth. And I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us and continue to be a champion in your life and encouraging us to do the same. Oh my gosh, thank you.
Thank you. Our next wonderful speaker is Jason from Calgary here, and I have a little testimony to say that I met Jason through TikTok. He's a champion in fitness, and I'm following his program and have reduced about 32 or 33 pounds, something like that. And Jason, come on up here and take the stage.
All right. Thank you for Lise and Randy for having me. I appreciate you guys. Thanks to everybody else for presenting. This has been amazing. I appreciate you inviting me here. My name is Jason. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I have been a fitness expert and health and wellness trainer for over 32 years. I have trained over 5,000 clients. I'm an ex-national bodybuilding champion, drug-free, of course. So I work on, of course, nutrition, exercise with resistance and cardio training. We focus on allergen foods, focus on anti-aging lifestyle, just basically helping people create their absolute best, fittest, healthiest version of yourself. So as mentioned, I've been running this program for a long time. 4 years ago, I went as a strategically online trainer only. So I've used a lot of different social media platforms to get my program out to the world. So I've got like hundreds of thousands of followers on social media now, and it's really picked up quite well. So what we're going to do today, I'm going to give you guys a couple steps, 5 specific things that everybody on this call and everybody on earth can do to, of course, increase their longevity by 10 to 14 years just by doing 5 things every day. But first, we're going to talk about opening up your mind a little bit. I want you to think about a few things today, and these are some of the things that I mentioned to my clients, either when we start my program or when they're interested in my program. So the first thing I want you to question is, why are 75% of humans overweight and obese? I want you to wonder why 65% of humans have this metabolic disorder called skinny fat. Why do 80% of humans have insulin resistance? We can open up our minds even farther. 1 out of 2 humans on this earth will actually pass away young from cardiovascular disease. 1 out of 2 humans will also pass away young from cancer. Then we have stroke, diabetes, Alzheimer's, which is type 3 diabetes, it's sugar in the brain, and we have dementia. So what's the problem? What's actually causing all these issues with humans? Because 75% of humans that are overweight and obese means there's 25% of people that aren't overweight and obese, but it doesn't mean they don't have a disease and they're not unhealthy either. So the unfortunate answer of what's going on with every human on this planet is that we are being poisoned from the moment we wake up until the moment we go to bed at night, okay? So these are carcinogens. It's in your food, your water, your clothing, your hygiene products, your cleaning products, every supplement in your house. These are called hormone and endocrine disruptors. It actually doesn't matter how much exercise you do, how much of a meal plan I can put you on. If you have imbalanced hormones or you have hormone and endocrine disruptors in your body, they are sitting on the receptor sites on your cells that your actual hormones, your endocrine system design are supposed to be. So I like to run my people through a little journey. You wake up in the morning and you just slept in it. It's been in your sheets all night. It's in your pillow. It was in your pajamas. It's in your the water you wash your face with and you shower with. Then it's in your toothbrush, your toothpaste, your deodorant, your shampoo, your lotion. You haven't even got out of your bathroom yet. You haven't even eaten any food. And all people do is eat poison all day. They drink poison all day. and they go through this toxic cycle. This is why we have such an amazing, and again, it's an unfortunate high percentage of people that are sick. If you've never heard of a micro or a nanoplastic, this is something that is one of the biggest, most popular things that's poisoning humans on the planet. I'm sure you're not aware of, but every human on Earth now eats a credit card size of micro and nanoplastics per week. That is 52 plastic cards. It's almost 2 pounds of plastic. So does anybody want to guess what the number one contributor on the Earth is of humans putting microplastics into their body every day?
Water bottles.
That's number 2. Great guess.
Plastic for microwaves in the microwave?
That's a great guess too. It's your toothbrush.
Oh.
Your toothbrush is nylon 666 plastic. You're putting those bristles in your mouth. Every time you brush your teeth, Ashley had an amazing guess. They just did a study last year at 5 different universities. If you drink a 500 ml water bottle, you're swallowing 500,000 microplastics. These are small little particles you can't see. Your toothbrush is double. You're swallowing 1 million microplastics, and most people brush their teeth once or twice per day. So, of course, you're also touching a plastic handle. The cell phone is also in the top 5 because you put the cell phone's plastic too, but so is the case. So the whole problem is, and they did a study last year on mothers with babies, there's such a bad problem on Earth, they're passing micro nanoplastics to their unborn children through the umbilical cord already. So we can jump to your tap water next. All you have to do is go to the environmental workers group, which is called the EWG, type in your zip code, and they'll tell you all the contaminants that are just in your tap water. So that's one of the first things I do when I bring people in my program is we start drinking clean water. There's over 200 to 250 in every tap water on Earth, and well water is even more dirty because of all the spraying. So it's not just the carcinogens, right? It's the genetically modified food. Most people don't even think about, nor are they aware of what GMOs are. GMOs were not made by Mother Nature. We're designed to eat food that comes out of the earth or off a tree, okay? When you make genetically modified foods, which are called genetically modified organisms, they're taken into a lab and they have their DNA altered. So what do you guys think happens when that goes into the body? The body just says, what is this? It actually doesn't know what to do with it. Then we have inactivity. Then we have stress. I'm sure you've heard of the forever chemicals, the PFAS, the PFOS. So there's the number one known human carcinogen on the planet that's already in 87% of humans' urine stream, and they studied this in 2022. Does anybody know the toxin I'm talking about? The number one sprayed pesticide on the planet. Somebody's got to know what it is.
Yeah.
Roundup.
Exactly. It's called glyphosate. So it's the active ingredient in the weed killer called Roundup. And this is from a company called Monsanto, who owns all the genetically modified corn on the planet. So we're being poisoned all day long. So why do people join my program? Number one, they get results. Lee's is a perfect example. If you come in my program, I guarantee you will lose 30 pounds of body fat in 16 weeks. If you want to lose 50 or 60 pounds, that will take us about 24 weeks. Any woman in my program can lose 100 pounds in a year. I have men drop 100 pounds in less than 6 months because we have more testosterone, we have more muscle. Men drop weight faster. We have a less issue with their thyroid and balancing the hormones. So once we get the woman's estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol balance, the thyroid fixed, the adrenals working, the whole endocrine system communicating, then we get going. But it's just not enough. Exercise and cardio isn't enough, because we need to heal the internal systems of the body. We got to get rid of the toxins in the body, kill off the parasites, the worms, the fungus, the bacteria, the viruses, the Candida albicans that live in every human on this planet. We all have parasites. If you have pets, you have double the amount of parasites. I used to have dogs in my house, and of course, notorious for humans is the fluke worm, of course, and the hookworm. Notorious for pets are tapeworms, right? So you get 3 results in my program. For 3 reasons you get results. Number one, I teach you how to make better lifestyle choices, because you're either eating nutrient dead foods all day or you're eating nutrient dense foods. Number 2, I help you change your lifestyle, because if you're not 100% happy with how you look and you feel, and I want people to go get naked, get the way you were born, look in the mirror every day and do an analysis, just like you're doing a checkup on your teeth or your car, or whatever it is. Look in the mirror. Are you happy with yourself? It's not all about vanity. It's about health too. So we need to change the lifestyle, because if it's not working, you're not doing it properly. Number 3, You need to create an entire new environment, okay? That's removing the environmental pollution out of your life. Most people don't even think about it. Every piece of clothing probably on your backs, it has polyester. You're putting micro and nanoplastics in your body. Just so you guys know, forever chemicals are called forever chemicals because they cannot leave your body. Micro and nanoplastics also cannot leave your body. So you're eating all this resin and epoxy that's made out of plastic, and it's going into your body. So it's basically breaking down to the accumulation of the poison for years and years and years that does the damage. There's an old saying, the devil's in the dose. And I get people coming to me every day saying, but Jason, I only had one Diet Coke. Okay, that's all I had. On top of the Diet Coke, they put another 100 to 1,000 carcinogens into their body every day, which are, again, hormone and endocrine disruptors. So before I tell you the 5 things, how to extend your life 14 years immediately today, I'm going to leave you with my favorite quote from Dr. Michael Colgan. He is a Canadian. He lives in Salt Spring Islands. He runs the Canadian Colgan Institute. He trains athletes and he trains horses. And his quote is, if you don't make time for your health, you better make time for sickness. So it's basically one or the other. Every choice that you make every day, you're either creating yourself to be healthier and longevity, or you're creating yourself to get sick. As I said, doctors wouldn't have a job if humans were healthy. Okay, people complain to me all the time. Oh my God, it's so expensive to be healthy, Jason. I can't believe it. Try being sick once. Try getting cancer. Try getting type 2 diabetes. Guess how much, just in the United States alone, in 1 year, guess how much the profits are from type 2 diabetes medication? It's big. Does anyone want to give me a guess? Just the United States.
It's in the billions.
It's $8 billion. So do you think they want me coming in and reversing your diabetes? I can reverse any human on earth's diabetes in 2 weeks. And I do it every week with clients. And they're shocked. And they go to their doctor and we start pulling them off the medication. Because they need you on medications to profit. Because if you're sick, they're selling sickness. There's no money in health. I'll be 51 years old next week. I've never taken a medication in my life. Everyone coming in my program, I take them off their medications immediately. So this is how the program works. It's not just a meal plan and an exercise program. A lot of people think about that when they see me or they see my history, but I have a master's degree in nutrition, and 80 to 90% of what you're going to get out of results is your food intake. So let's go through the 5 things really quickly. First thing you need to do every day is lower your stress. If you look at a 2020 study in biomedicines found anyone exposed to chronic stress all day ages you faster because of something called stress-induced inflammation. So stress is a killer, and it's linked to every major disease on earth. Quite a few of you took us through meditation. I meditate either every morning or every night before I go to bed. I've been doing this for 30 years. It is the only way to get yourself enlightened and get the pineal gland activated. So that lowers stress immediately. Even those 3 deep breaths we did lowers cortisol immediately. Even if you think a stressful thought, you're already storing fat in your stomach. You can't stop it. This is how humans are designed. We're making every regular day activity, like standing in the lineup at the bank, we've turned that into a fight or flight response, thinking we're being chased by lions and tigers, but we're not. But we're releasing the same chemicals. Number 2, you have to eat better. Anyone's diet or meal plan can stand some improvements. So we need to really focus on this, guys. Less white, refined, bleached, packaged, man-made sugar, carbohydrates, and less allergen foods, more organic fruits and vegetables, and you must get protein into your body, and it should be good quality protein. Number 3, you need to learn how to fast properly, okay? I fast for 7 days every month. I've been doing this for 20 years. If you fast properly, and there's no benefit to fasting unless you can go 48 to 72 hours or more, okay? You have to get the body into autophagy. If you continue to go past 72 hours of fasting, you drop into a zone, and I know Lise is doing lots of fasting these days. You go into something called chaperone-mediated autophagy. This is the deepest cleanse the human body can get into. You will kill cancer. You will kill parasites. You will kill all the worms that live in your body. So you have to do it properly. If you look at the study by Dr. Pradeep, it just came out last month in Boston, a 7-day water fast will lower your chances from getting cancer, and we know 1 out of 2 humans die, from cancer, there's just under 8 billion people on this planet, you will lower your risk of getting cancer by 70 to 90%. That's one 7-day water fast. Okay. Number 4, you need to get moving. You have to get off your ass, guys. I'm at a standing workstation. Humans were never made to sit. We've never sat in our bodies in history. Okay. If you go back hundreds of thousands and millions of years, we were outdoors. I was born in the 70s. My dad was never sitting down. I was raised on a farm. He was outside working. That's how people were designed to be. So we got to get going, guys. If you look at the research, even 10 minutes, 3 times a week of losing your breath, you will actually get a benefit of exercise. Okay. Number 5, does anybody know of a guy named William Shakespeare? I'm sure most people do. He had this amazing quote, sleep is the chief nourisher in life's feast. So if you sleep less than 7 hours per night, you're already sleep deprived. Okay. So if it's 3 nights or more every week, the doctor will try to put you on medication. So the focus is to try to get 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted, restful sleep per night. If you're like me and you have a small bladder, I get up and pee every night since I was 20. It's not my prostate. I guarantee it. I've had it checked. It's okay. But you have to get back to sleep. There's many reasons why you can't get back to sleep. The top 2 are you have parasites or you have fatigue in the adrenal glands, and that's easily fixed. So, of course, when you have poor sleep, it's negative effects on the hormones, the exercise performance, the brain function. Of course, when you have a good sleep, you exercise better and have more health. So we incorporate all these things into my program. Anybody interested in my program, all I get you to do is go to my website or any of my social media platforms. You click on a link. You're going to answer 20 health and wellness questions for me, just like Lee's did. I shoot you a personal video. It'll be 12 to 15 minutes long of me telling you exactly what our challenges are. I'm going to give you a game plan, and then I'm getting on a live call with you like this, and we go through it together. You can ask me any questions you want. And if you and I feel like it's a good fit, we get you going immediately. I start about 3 to 5 new clients per week, and I'd say the majority come from social media and referrals. I don't do advertising. I've never paid for advertising in my life. So that's what I do, guys.
Fantastic, Jason. That really brings it all home. Taking care of your physical, and also is like for me, I feel like I'm going through a transformation of psychological with your program. So I appreciate everything that you bring to the table here. And I feel like you're the doctor of wellness here.
Thank you.
Not only the physical, but also the emotional and everything else that ties into it. So now what I'm going to do is open up the floor. Anybody for questions, if you could put in show us that you want to ask questions for any of the panelists here today. And hello to all the newcomers that came in. I see there's Sherry, Michelle, I think Suzanne was in, I don't know. But questions for any of the panels. You can put the react button and put your hand up, or just get on the microphone and ask questions. Okay, I have a question. For each of the speakers here today, what do you think is the best way to create a wellness revolution in what we're trying to do here? What is it that we as a team here, do you think that this can really move forward in growing to the world by coming together as a team and helping to meet the global needs? Like, is there a need for a channel or a somewhere where people can call all in one spot, to access the alternative healers? And I think that you're all a part of this solution. So if anybody has an answer for that, that'd be awesome. Jason, what's your pick on that?
Can you hear me, Lise? I don't know if am I muted or no?
No, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I definitely feel there is a need. I really do. Just because you know that I go live on TikTok every day for 1.5 to 2 hours. I have 1 to 4,000 people come through my videos. I get messages constantly every day with people who they actually they don't know where to go next. And I think everybody that spoke today, they could actually benefit from all of us. I know I try to incorporate the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual, the mindset, everything into my program as well. But I don't specifically focus as a professional on those other areas, and a lot of you do. So I would need help with that, right? I do feel that something like a podcast would be my suggestion, would probably get us out, because we need eyes, we need views. It's like I post videos every day to get views. That's the way that I've also worked with quite a few companies who do this for a living. I joined a company from Kelowna 4 years ago that taught me how to turn my business from being from being an in-person trainer to going online. And I've been a supplement broker for 25 years in Alberta, managing like 10 supplement companies. And I've let go of all that work. I've become so busy as an online trainer. So, I got help from them. Last year, I worked with a company in Toronto. They were heavily focused on funnels, funneling people into your program. This year, I just started working with a company from Las Vegas. So they're teaching me how to make better content, have a better offer for my clients, have a better customer journey. The constant learning can never end, but I believe social media is our pathway. And again, I think the podcast's great. I've never done one either, but I do go live daily on Instagram and TikTok. I think if people saw even a few minutes of each of us, or something like this, just talking a little bit about our professions, I think that creates a lot of interest. And then once we get the interest, we can get more customers, right? I think it's about getting clients, right, guys? That's part of it. We want to help people, right? I know we need to be paid for our services. I totally understand that. We're all professionals. We've probably all spent 60 to 100,000 or more on our education. I know I have 3 degrees and a master's, so it's expensive, but it's worth it because we're going to help people get to their goals. So I definitely see there's a need, 100%.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else want to chime in? Yes, go ahead,
Hey,
Darla.
I actually was listening with what Jason was saying, but I think that what would be very beneficial is creating a space where there is a dedicated group where we are like introducing other people who are already in it, being able to bring the education that is necessary. How many people right now are uneducated in what is wellness as it is? What does it mean to have wellness? How many people are just living their day-to-day lives, going through the routines and the systems? Everybody's being told one thing and then another thing. If we actually create a platform where there's all of the different, let's look at the wheel of life and all the spokes that are important to how we live our functions every day. But giving everyone a space where they're learning the information that's appropriate to those different spaces so that they can begin actually identifying what they need so that they can grow and develop the wellness that they need. That would be the core to begin reaching the world in regards to a revolution of health and wellness, because nobody knows. Everyone's piped into so many different ideas. And if you have one hub where everyone can come and get actual education and knowledge, then all of a sudden, all of those other pieces, everyone will understand why they need an intuitive transformational therapist. They'll understand why they need a grief recovery specialist. They'll understand why they need healthcare for certain things that are going on with their body. They'll understand. It's literally just coming back to the basics of the simple wheel. The wheel doesn't need to be redesigned. It's already there. We know that we have our physical wellness that we need to tend to. We know that we have our mental, emotional, and all of the different spokes that go into who we are. And if we're not taking and caring for all of it, there's going to be parts where we fall short.
Fantastic. Thank you for your input. I'm writing notes as you're speaking. So, of course, we could have a Facebook hub, a page, and I think we can set that up. Right, Randy Joe? I think
Yes,
we
do
have
that.
one already.
I think when you're saying that, Darla, what came to mind to me was like when Jason said, if you don't want, okay, if you don't make time for your health, then you're gonna make time for to be sick. And that's what it comes down to, the circle, right?
Yeah.
Hub and stuff too. And my mom is a nurse, was a nurse too. It's like if you're not healthy, who can you help? And that's how I led my life too. You have all this stuff coming in. And I would love to have a hub too where it doesn't cost anything. Because every time we go in there, it costs something to join it. But we would have our services if people want to reach out to us later, like with a podcast. I love it because you can just record them and they're there forever, and then you have everybody's links in there if they want to reach out to, because I don't want it salesy, because the last thing I want is salesy. And that's just how I feel about this, because it's health, and if no one's healthy, we can't, they need, that's the world, because the mental health, the field I work in criminal justice, Sherry knows too. It's just that there's so much stress that goes on. And when we work in that field, we take it home with us. And I would love to have a place to come and just know that I'm doing the right thing to take care of me, so then I can help others as well.
I also think that I also think collaboration is part of it, but for me, my mode of transport, people grab cars. My mode of transport is by foot, by bus, and by train. And if you sit down and wait for your bus, your train, you're watching people go by, and people live in a routine. Routine is they get up in the morning, they have their coffee or their breakfast, they go to their school, their education, their job. They do X amount of hours that they come home, they have dinner, they put the TV on, and they go to bed. So I would agree. There's lack of education. Yes, as a professional athlete who has been in the high performance world, then there is the knowledge there, the experience is there, but there's this but. The but is how far are they willing to do to get out of that routine? Because they see the doctor, the lawyer, and the teacher as the god of profession. So they're going to say, my doctor said this. So it's a mindset component of how do you get them out of that routine, that mindset, into a more productive mindset where they can say, hey, if I don't look after my body and I don't look after my wellness, I'm going to end up in cancer. And they don't think it's it'd be grand. It'd be grand that I have this glass of wine because it'll make me happy. And uh, so to create a wellness revolution requires an aspect of looking at your routine, looking at what is my day schedule, because performance is what we're all looking for. We talk about wellness. If you go a level further, wellness is performance. Do you want to drive a micro or a BMW that breaks down every 3 months, or you want to drive a Ferrari? And a Ferrari means I'm not going to get sick, I'm wealthy, I'm successful, my wheel of life is moving. So it's great having all these amazing groups, but the question is, do I want to die by 30 or do I want to live to 150?
Great point. I was going to ask you, so what you bring to the circle is you do have a podcast every week. Would it be possible to have one podcast per month feature something? I know you're doing wellness all the time, but something about the wellness revolution, how can we tie it into what you're already doing? Is that a possibility?
I think podcasts are a possibility. It's the new media. It's the new CNN. It's the new PBS. The question is, what makes you uniquely stand out? Because everyone's doing it. It's like, if the scene in Finding Nemo where all the salmon are pushing together in a net. That's what's happening in the podcasting world. Everyone has a podcast. Everyone has the platform. It's free, and we're all swimming in one direction. So if you could stand out with a cool headline or cool hook or a cool content or provocative sound bites, that's how you, in my opinion, in my experience, that's how you stand out. And James kind of mentioned about his aspect of TikTok is, if if you don't stand out, then you'll do a couple hundred episodes and you'll probably get somewhere, but you won't get to a point where your message is being shared because um it's a big world and a busy world. So that'd be my opinion. To answer your question, yes, um, our wellness needs to be shared in a revolution, but the question is, what kind of impact do you want to create?
Fantastic. Thank you for your message. Anyone else want to chime in?
Do you have questions for the guests?
Sherry or Michelle, do you have anything to say? How was this for you? Did you enjoy this session? Great. We will be continuing on next month and month after month, and we encourage you to come and listen to the other speakers. We will be setting up a Facebook page specifically for the Wellness Revolution. Also, the other thing too is that this is all going to be recorded, and I'll put it on a YouTube channel. So this is kind of like our podcast, with all of us coming, and we're just creating the inventory of all the different professionals coming together, and we're creating a magazine, and we were thinking also of a newsletter, monthly newsletter talking about the speakers of the month sort of thing. So, any more comments or anything? How is this for everybody? Just, few minutes just to close us off. Deepa, we'll start with you.
Oh, no, it's just, each speaker there's a lot that they would like to, or, to make it complete. There is so much to cover. Yeah. So like, I don't know, like, when it's like 5 minutes, it's quite a stretch, to cover it in a comprehensive enough manner. And yeah, at the end of the day, just carry on a little bit from what we were just speaking about. It's we are all too much external focused, and we have to pull ourselves in and look within, and that takes us back to this spiritual element. Simplify our lives. At the end of the day, none of us are in control. We are not in control. However much we like to be, we think we are, but we are not. And we need to realize that and to appreciate the one who is actually in control. Who was the one who decided that Aron should have a vision impairment? It wasn't him. It wasn't any of us. So we have to appreciate the one who is really in control and simplify our lives. And we have done such a mess of this world. We're almost on the brink of extinction of the whole world. Who did that? Us, because we thought we're smarter than the one who is in control, but we aren't. And we have to be humble and know that it is not us in control. It is somebody else, and he needs a bit of attention and appreciation.
Thank you so much, Deepa. Very wise coming from you all the way from Australia. We appreciate you, and definitely who's in control, the higher power. Ashley, do you have any last comments you'd like to share?
Sure. I just want to thank you and Randy Joe for putting this together. It was a ton of information. I think when we feel like we're already on the steps of living a healthier lifestyle, there's always something more that we can learn. When Jason was talking about the microplastics, I didn't even think about my toothbrush. it's mind-boggling of what we can continue to learn. And when we're open to learning more, that's where change can happen. So it's definitely something where there can be that wellness revolution if we're going to allow it to be there and we're going to be open to it, and bringing others into that community. One thing I do want to say is um, I misspoke on my link before. It's free gift with selfcaremama.com. So I just want to throw that out there. But again, this was great. And I think that there is a heavy need for it in the community, in the world. And Lise, I do want to talk to you. I do host a podcast every Friday on mental health. But I do want to talk to you about that because I think there might be a way that we can possibly do some collaboration on this as well. So we'll definitely chat.
Absolutely. I'm here for all of you, and Randy Joe as well. And we're more than happy to be a part of any wellness strategies out there to bring this world into a healthier place.
Lise, I do
Yes.
want to add something in regards to what Deepa was. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, well, in reference to what Deepa was saying, I want to take it to another little deeper space in regards to spirituality. When teaching others as well as ourselves, everything that we live begins and ends within. In the beginning, there was a creator, that created it all. Like she was saying, if we're not giving the credit to the creator, what are we doing? We're keeping ourselves separate. We're separating ourselves from the abundance, the life, the joy of everything that lives within. So when we tune back in and realize that lives within us, that power of that I am that comes from the beginning of all time, when we tune back into ourselves, it helps us to redirect ourselves and actually live the life that we're intended to live and give us the wellness that we all deserve. But we have to start with that fundamental truth of knowing that there is something greater and bigger than all of us and allows us to redirect our life. But we have to tune in. The meditation is one of the major keys, providing breath work, meditations, and other resources, the clearings, the other things, bringing our energetic bodies into alignment. That's how it begins, because we're all part of the grid anyways. We're just not active. We're not alive. And if we're not awoke to the situation and realizing we are the solution, we're not going to make it. We have to tune in. And that is why the revolution of the wellness is so important.
Absolutely. I believe that, I'm mixed blood, and my sons are First Nations. And there's a lot of teachings like about ceremony. And right now, what I think we're creating here is a ceremony for life so that we can sustain the next generations to come, which is so important because without our next generations, then what are we here for, right? And we need to help to care for our Mother Earth. We didn't even talk about that so much. Like Jason did talk about the environments, but how can we make the best out of what we're doing on a day-to-day basis? And I think it starts with the power of that intention and working with the higher power in order for us to actualize everything that we see. And I feel that when we're on the same vibration as healers here on earth, that we can create those rippling effects. That's why I think it's so important that we catalyze this revolution. And each voice that comes to this circle is important and a part of the ceremony of life. So with that, Randy Joe, do you have any words to say?
I'm just taking this all in, and I've really enjoyed all the speakers today and learned so much. And there's always like Ashley was saying, you think you know it all. I think I've got it figured out, but there's always more to learn. And just keep, just because I want to leave a legacy of wellness and to my family, to my nieces and nephews, that we need to take care of us, because we used to say if we don't take care of us, we're not going to be around that long. I want to live till I'm in the hundreds. We're meant to be live till 200, but not the way we're taking care of ourselves nowadays.
That's right. So with that, thank you all, and we'll get the Facebook channel happening. We'll get this on YouTube, and we'll share everything that we have with you, and let you know about the next event. Alrighty. So thank you everybody for coming out. Have a great one. Yahoo! We did it!
Oh, thank you guys.